I'm here with Jessica. She's the founder and director of Growing Soul. Jessica, can you tell us about Growing Soul?
We're a nonprofit organization, and we are working to create a sustainable closed-loop food system for our nation's capital. We started with composting. We collect compostables from the community and turn it into soil with soul that we share with schools, school gardens, community gardens, teach them how to grow food. We take it to a commercial kitchen, teach them how to prepare food and prepare it for market, and then come to the farmers markets to sell it. We also operate the Montgomery County Food Council to help work on policy issues that support our producers.
When did you start it and why did you start this enterprise?
We started around Memorial Day of 2009. I was at a movie with Joel Salatin, who's a famous sustainable farmer, and I met with him because I actually wanted to talk about how I wanted to know if he would sell my beef jerky that I make from his beef. And he said to me, as long as it's made in a commercial kitchen, we can do it. And one of the other gentlemen in the movies, Will Allen, who's sort of the father of urban agriculture, had taken a vacant lot in Milwaukee and turned it into a farm. And after the movie, he was talking about how he grew up and he was a sharecropper's son on Montrose Road in Rockville. And he left farming, he was a basketball star, and decided that he really had to get back into farming when he tasted how good the food was in Europe and it wasn't great here. And his initiative is the idea that you can dismantle racism by creating equal access to food for everyone. My kids go to school at the Sandy Spring Friends School, which is located on the Underground Railroad, and there is a hollow tree on the trail behind the school where the Quakers would put out food for the people who were on their way towards freedom. And it just struck me that if food sovereignty is what we're really trying to create, that we should pay tribute to that and create a training center for growing power on the Underground Railroad in Will's hometown.
How do you reach out to these different organizations that take part in it with Growing Soul?
We have a lot of community partnerships. So we work with Manna Food Bank, which is our local food bank in Montgomery County, collecting their compostables, helping to bring food to them. We work with local farmers, bringing our volunteers there to help train them and learn how to farm. And a lot of what we do is just connecting, going to meetings and talking to people. One of the things that we do is Free Cycle, which is like Craigslist, but it's free, and people will say, oh, I have this, and I applied for something, and usually people will say, I want it, let me take it. And my reply is, dear so-and-so, thank you for your X. We would be using it this way at our sustainable farm, and it's no carbon footprint. The truck that we use runs on waste vegetable oil. So the guy responded to me and he said that the lights are gone, but I'm the director of Chipotle restaurants, and there might be a way that we could work together. And we immediately started a composting pilot with Chipotle, and that was 2 years ago. And we've been collecting their compostables and their oil to make our fuel so that we can our hope is to bring as much money to the producers as we can.
What's your relationship with the city of Takoma Park?
We've been working with the city of Takoma Park for about 18 months. They were very interested in composting to bring up their numbers for recycling. And so we've been talking with Del Braithwaite at Public Works, and we are now doing a curbside pickup. So what you see in the truck are 65 households that we picked up curbside before we came here. And they're also paying us to be here to be able to collect the compostables. So they've been really supportive. We want to go to also the Takoma Park Farmers Market as well, and we're working with the Ace Hardware in Takoma Park to get our buckets and trying to build the whole community so it's a win-win for everybody.
Obviously your service is great to the community, but how do you sustain yourself? How do you keep running this organization?
Well, we are a nonprofit, so we do accept donations, but we are about 90% revenue generated. So we do teach programming. Right now we work in Suitland. We just opened a farmers market that opened yesterday. And we teach students at Title I schools how to grow their own food, and we use the soil that we make with composting. Composting is really our largest source of revenue. So we will drive to your community, and for $8 we'll come and we'll pick up a bucket of your scraps and then turn it into soil. For the Crossroads Farmers Market, we're parked here for 4 hours. Anybody in the area who wants to come and bring us their compostables, They do the delivery, they bring it to us, and then we drive everything to the composting site. So we just want to encourage people to be sorting and recycling their vital nutrients.
Well, Jessica, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to continue going around. There are a lot of things to see, so we'll continue.
Great. Have a great day.
A little change can make a big difference. I'm Jerry Johnson, General Manager of the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission. I'm very proud to tell you about Roundup. It's a new program that offers our customers a convenient way to contribute to WSSC's water fund. Imagine going to the tap and there's no water. That's a harsh reality for some of our customers facing hardship paying their bill. That's why we're asking you to round up your bill to the nearest dollar. If every customer rounded up just 25 cents for a year, we could help hundreds of families. Rounding up is easy. Sign up online at wsscwater.com or check the box on your bill to round up. Remember, a little change can make a big difference. Thank you.
Here we are with Rochelle and Ezequiel, and they are from Lydia's Field at Whitland. It's their first year, so let's talk and see how's your this year first experience.
First experience, the year's going very well. We just started at a few different markets, and this is our first week at Crossroads, so we're pretty excited about it. We work with a guy named Robert Schubert, who owns and started Lydia's Fields last season and has been doing just about half a season last year, and then this is our first season. So we're growing organically grown produce and starting up some orchards. So we're doing small fruits as well, but mainly this year we'll be bringing vegetables. And we're on about 10 acres, growing on 3 acres this year, just bringing as much healthy, nutrient-dense vegetables as we can to the community.
Why do you decide to start this farm?
So we are working with Robert, who started the farm last year. So this is our first year working with Robert. He has been working in food policy and food access for a number of years. Started a few different markets around this area and is starting yet another market this year. So what's really important to him is food access, food justice, and then he has this past year decided to really kind of get his own hands dirty and start his own place to be a part of that part of the food production as well, and trying to kind of be a part of food production, food access on every level. So we're working with him to kind of make that possible.
What has been some of the challenges this year?
This year, well, we're on new land, land that has been farmed before but hasn't been farmed for a long time. So we're dealing with challenges of setting up infrastructure and trying to get all of our land ready for vegetable production. So a lot of just basic weed issues and pest issues, and kind of we're young farmers, so dealing with a lot of things for the first or second time, and so there's a lot of we don't know what this is, and kind of figuring things out as we go along and using our collective expertise as a guide, but really flying by the seat of our pants with all the information and all the mentors that we have at our access. We have a beautiful community of really experienced farmers.
And what has been the challenge of getting out there? Like, for example, here, how you got here to this Crossroads Farmers Market?
We have connections to Michelle, who has been a really great resource for us, and just bringing us to communities like this who really need access to really good food. So we've been reaching out to different communities and different markets that we thought we would like to be able to provide healthy vegetables to.
Ezequiel, what's your duties in all this?
I'm mainly a field worker, so I'm there weeding, planting, transplanting, hoeing, harvesting, packing, washing, and then selling here. Rochelle's more of the head of the operation, but we kind of work together. She doesn't want to accept that, but
what is your vision? What do you look for in the future with Lydia's
So right now we're planning on expanding with an orchard. We're in the process of building a barn right now and really setting up infrastructure, so building wash stations, building packing spaces, and expanding, so just trying to grow as much produce as we can to provide enough food for this community. So it's really just about kind of utilizing our space to the best of our abilities so we can be maximizing what we can produce, but also while treating the land with respect and giving back as much fertility to the land as we're taking. And then Robert really focuses on educating, so he hires people like us who are experienced enough to know how to bring this to the market, but still trying to get a hang of all the different details and how each vegetable likes to grow and kind of the flow of the season. So he has created a really incredible opportunity for people like us who are passionate and want to be moving on to a place where we can be really getting our hands dirty and learning how to run a farm and run these operations and make everything look beautiful and taste beautiful, but don't necessarily have years and years of expertise. So he's kind of creating that bridge for young farmers.
I would say that knowing or getting to know your land before starting an operation, or as much as you can, would be a good recommendation.
Have you had a good weather this year for farming?
We're both relatively new to this area, so it's hard to know what to expect per se. I mean, I was here last year as well, working in the same neighborhood at a different farm, and as most people remember, last year we had 85-degree weather in March, and so it was wild. And so this year is completely different, and we've just had so much rain, and we've had these bouts of heat, and now it's cool again. So I think that it's hard for us to say what is normal and what's not normal and what to expect and what not to expect, but it's certainly treating our greens very well.
Well, thank you very much. I know you also have another great challenge, which you speak Spanish, right? Gracias por la entrevista. Okay. Thank you, and we're going to continue going around because they have a lot of stuff going on here. Thank you.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups. So always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
I'm here with Terry from Hampshire Farm. Can you tell us a little bit about your farm, please?
Our farm, the gentleman I work for has been retired for several years, and he's always wanted to do farming, and he decided he actually worked for agriculture for the state, so he picked the location where he's at now in order to grow produce, because he always loved doing it, and he found the perfect piece of property on the eastern shore of Maryland, and that's where they retired, and he's been doing it now for about 35 years.
Can you tell us a little bit about the food, especially the healthy food that go from, from the farm to the table?
You're not going to get it any fresher unless you grow it yourself. Our chemicals that we use are also certified organic. We're not organically certified, but we try to think of the health of everyone else that we're serving this to. Our truck brings it straight from the farm, straight to the markets. It's not shipped 4 or 5 days across country or something like that, where it's going to sit there and it's just going to be picked green and just be woody and not have the same flavor. So getting fresh is going to be better for everyone, instead of going to the supermarket saying, oh, well, it was only $2.99 a pound here. Well, I'm $3 a pound, but mine was just picked this morning. So there's you're getting a lot more nutrients and vitamins that way instead of something that was picked green and shipped across.
How long have you been participating in this farmer market?
This farmer's market, I'm trying to remember how long they've been open. I'm not quite sure, but I personally have been coming to this one for 4 years.
How has your experience been at this farmer's market?
This one's been difficult only because the language barrier with myself, so I'm trying to take classes for that. But the other vendors here that do speak Spanish are very helpful, and they do help out a lot. But the majority of them have been very nice and very helpful, and even the customers, the same way. They have just come up and they'll just help you right out. I couldn't pick a better market.
Terry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are here at the Crossroads Market with Kevin from the Turkish farm. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about your farm?
We're located in Adams County, Pennsylvania. We grow a mixture of fruits and vegetables. We start out in spring with strawberries and raspberries, peaches, nectarines, plums, end with apples in the fall. And we have miscellaneous vegetables. After strawberries, we start with tomatoes and peppers, sweet and hot peppers, some sweet corn, summer squash, other miscellaneous vegetables.
How long have you been a farmer, and also what have been some of the challenges you have been facing as a farmer?
I grew up on a farm, then I took over when my dad retired in 1992. Some of the challenges today is, the weather conditions, and big challenges finding extra labor for help over the summer and in the fall air at times. Being a small farmer, you don't have full-time help, so you have part-time help.
We know that the farmers have been going through a lot, especially with the government and all these things. Have you gotten, or do you get any help, or the farmers get any help from either local or state government or federal government?
There's different programs, that through your NRCS programs that you can apply for, it helps out with certain things, yes.
How long have you been participating at the Crossroads Market?
I've been participating here for 4 years. It's a very nice market.
What has been your experience? Good?
It's a mixture of different nationalities of people, and everybody's just real friendly and nice place to have business set up.
Well, thank you. Well, we're going to continue going around, visiting all the kiosks, so stay with us.
Welcome. I understand you need a little help with your mortgage. Want to avoid foreclosure. Smart move. Candy? Well, you're in luck. We're experts in this sort of thing. Mortgage, rigmarole, whatnot.
Really?
Absolutely. And we guarantee results, for a small fee, of course. Such are the benefits of having a professional on your side. Why don't we get a contract? Who wants a contract?
Here you go, Pete.
Thanks, Betty.
Write a toner.
Sign it. Come on, sign it. Families around the country every single day saving homes.
We will talk it over with.
If you're facing foreclosure, make sure you're talking to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
I'm here with Victoria Hall. She's the outreach person for SNAP, a program from the Farmers Market. Can you talk to us a little bit about the SNAP program?
Sure. Well, we here at this Farmers Market, we work with Crossroads Farmers Market here to outreach the community, to access to programs is SNAP, Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program. We help them access all the resources in Montgomery County and PG County. We do help them filling up applications, those that need help with that. We help them gather all the documents they need and requirements. Also, we do follow-ups. Besides the SNAP outreach, we also help them find that other resources like medical assistance and other services in the county.
What are the requisites for getting to SNAP? How can you get it?
How can you get it?
Yes.
Well, it's based on income, family income, so they need to go through a process, presenting documents. Pretty much they need to have an ID, proof of address, proof of income, and depend on their incomes, they'll be evaluate the applications to be able to be approved or not.
Can anybody apply? I mean, or do you have to be a U.S. citizen or?
You have to have a U.S. citizen or permanent resident for more than 5 years. That section changes when there are asylum. They can do it at any time.
So people that can apply for SNAP, what do they get once they apply and they get it? Is the discount is a big discount or is it free?
Well, once you've been approved, you get a certain credit to use every month. Every 30 days, you receive certain amount. This depends on how many in your family are eligible for that program. So every month you get that amount. If you do have a SNAP or you hold a week voucher, you could also use those here at the market. And the maximum amount you could use in your SNAP to be able to double that amount is $10. So every Wednesday you can come and get $10 out of your account from your SNAP card, and they will double that amount. That means you'll get $20 in product. Also, you can use the week, and also that amount can be doubled too.
SNAP is only to be used here, or you can use anywhere else?
Oh, SNAP can use pretty much everywhere. Giant, Safeway, different grocery stores. SNAP is used just for food only, not other items.
And every year you have to renew it, right?
Every 6 months, actually, for certain customers, every 6 months they need to read that, which means they need to overview every 6 months. But for seniors and people with disabilities, they do every year.
So if somebody wants to apply, they need SNAP. Do they contact you? Can they come here every Wednesday?
If they're interested to apply for it, they can come here every Wednesday. There's no appointment needed, and we can help them, guide them throughout the process of the application.
Well, Victoria, thank you very much. We are going to continue our runs, so I see you in a few.
Sometimes the most important world events, the events that affect us the most, are those that happen close to home. The PEG Network, television created to give Montgomery County residents a source of current and relevant information, from public affairs and entertainment to education and government. While other channels bring you the world, the PEG Network focuses on your corner of it. The PEG Network, cable with a difference.
Ever think about buying a bigger place?
Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy.
There is no credit fairy.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
I'm here with Forrest Pritchard, farmer and also author of Gaining Ground. Welcome, and can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I've been a farmer since I got out of college. My farm is a 7th generation family farm, and when I went to college, I was not intended, no one goes to college usually intending to come home and be a farmer. So I went to school, got an education, I studied English and geology. But when I came back to the farm, instead of taking a job in Washington like most of my friends did, I stayed on the farm and became an organic farmer.
Farmers have gone through a lot of changes lately. Can you tell us some of the challenges that of today's farmers?
Of course. So when I started farming back in the mid-1990s, we raised corn, soybeans, cattle, and those were commodity products. So we basically put those items on a truck, we harvested them, they went down the highway, we never saw them again, and we got a check in the mail. Okay? 20 years ago, the checks that we got in the mail was not enough to pay our bills. We had to change our model to become an organic farm, a direct marketing farm, a farm that takes their food and goes to farmers markets, just so we could make a living. Both of my father and my mother, for example, they could not afford to run the farm like farmers. My dad worked in Washington, D.C. My mom had a job in a local town. And it took their full paychecks to pay for all the bills on the farm. We could not grow enough food to pay for all the bills. So when I came back to the farm, we took it in a completely different direction. We went organic, local, and started selling at farmers markets in DC. And that was about 20 years ago now.
So what do you think is the future holds for the farmers?
You know, 97% of our food in this country today, 2013, is still raised just like I was saying. It's corn, it's soybeans, it's wheat, it's cattle that end up in feedlots, pigs in confinement, chickens in confinement houses. 3% of the food we have now is local and organic. Where that number becomes really interesting is when I started, it was 0.1%. Okay? So from 1996 to 2013, we've gone from 0.1% to 3%. That doesn't sound like a huge number, but that's 100%, 100%, 100% over and over again. You can't turn on the radio, you can't turn on the TV without hearing the economy's terrible. You know, everybody's getting laid off, sequesters, all these things. And yet, with the local food economy, we've had a huge amount of growth over 15 years. So the opportunities for this type of agriculture are huge. Again, we're only at 3%. We've got 97% of the way to go. Now, I don't ever expect that we'll get to 100%, and we probably shouldn't. You know, everything needs balance in an economy. People need choices. But now more than ever, farmers have choices to do something different, and consumers are starting to have choices. And this farmers market where you guys are today is the perfect intersection of where customers can find choices and farmers can, you know, actually make a living.
How often do you go to this type of farmers market?
I go every weekend. Our farm is an organic livestock farm. So we have cattle, pigs, sheep, chickens. They don't stop growing. They're not like a carrot, you know, or a tomato. Their season goes year-round. We're very fortunate to be in the Washington, D.C. area where there's a good population, people care about their food, and the climate is such that the winter isn't too hard, the summer's not too hot, so we can continue to grow food all year round. And that goes for a lot of, you know, the vegetables and fruit and bakers and all these folks that contribute to the farmers market. So we're kind of one of the crazy people. We show up 52 weeks a year, 12 months, and yeah, that's what we do.
Can you tell us some of the process that the food go through and what are the health issue more or less?
Of course. Customers might be thinking, you know, why should I shop at a farmer's market? Is my, you know, dollar, is the value really going to make a difference? Well, let's not think about farmers markets for a second. Let's think about the other 97% of the way our food gets raised. Most of our food travels 1,500 miles before it gets to our plate. Now, what does that mean? Does a farmer just drive circles around his farm before he comes to the city? No. Most food is grown, you know, in the Midwest, corn, soybeans. It then gets harvested and taken to a processing plant. What happens there? The food gets broken down into, you know, corn will be taken into high fructose corn syrup that will then be shipped to Coca-Cola or Pepsi. A lot of corn will then be shipped to feedlots where we get corn-fed beef, where we get pigs, where we get chickens. They're all fed corn and grain. Okay, so that all that food that we think, when we drive by cornfields and we think of human food, most of this stuff doesn't end up as human food. Very little of it ends up in a bag of tortilla chips. Okay, most of it ends up inside of cattle that are 500 miles away. Then those cattle, those pigs, those chickens go to Chicago, they go down to Texas, and they get processed again. And keep in mind, we're not talking about little farms that you drive by on the way to grandma's, okay? We're talking about 8 or 10 huge companies that control all the meat in the United States, okay? Once all that meat gets processed, we're talking about tens and tens and tens of thousands of animals every day. Then it goes to California, then it goes to New York City, then it goes to Chicago from Dallas or from Nebraska or wherever it ends up. So when we talk about the conversation about this food that ends up on our plate, we've got some real choices that we can make. We can look at a steak or a hamburger that's on our plate and say, did this food travel thousands and thousands of miles? Do I have any idea what farm this food came from? Do I really know how the animal was raised? Do I know all the ingredients? I mean, last year, the headlines were pink slime. We found pink slime in all our meat. I didn't know about pink slime. I raise food for a living. I didn't know about that. Do we really know what's on our plate and where it came from? Or let's take the conversation back to where we started. If we go to our farmer's market and we meet our farmer and we're able to visit that farm, then we can have a better sense of our food values, the identity and the origin of that food.
Forrest, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
I'd be delighted to. I wrote this book over the course of about 5 years, and it's intended to create a bridge between farmers and consumers. So often when we go to the supermarket, we don't really know where our food comes from. We go to the supermarket because we know we have to eat. We're hungry. We're thinking about the meal that we're going to be cooking later. But a lot of times the story about where that food came from, where the farm was, the human, the farmer that was on the other end of that food, we just don't know about. So this story is intended to tell, make a connection to our farm in particular, but then make kind of a broader conversation about not just a little farm in Virginia, but a farm in Nebraska, a farm in California, a whole national conversation about making that connection again between customer and farmer.